Hi guys, my name is Marissa, also known as Homemaking with Marissa on YouTube as well as on Instagram. Today's video is going to be a quick and easy Thanksgiving dinner. I know that for a lot of people, Thanksgiving is going to be different than it has been historically, and we're having to scale back our standard Thanksgiving plans. I wanted to come up with a meal plan that incorporates all of the Thanksgiving flavors but doesn't take the time that it normally takes to assemble the meal and is also far more budget conscious. Make sure to stick around until the end of the video where I will be sharing a simple Thanksgiving dessert that can be prepared in under 30 minutes. If you're new to my channel, please go ahead and hit the red subscribe button and turn on bell notifications so that you don't miss when I upload. Even though I wanted to keep our quarantine Thanksgiving really quick and easy, I am going to take the time to make rolls from scratch. This is a recipe that I have shared on my channel before. I have shared multiple times how I make pizza dough as well as how I make homemade bread. I will leave the exact measurements for this dough in the description box down below, but it's just a combination of eggs and sugar, butter, water, flour, salt, and yeast. I blend it all together and then allow it to rise on the countertop while I move on to the rest of the meal preparation. I'm curious what all of you are going to be doing for Thanksgiving. Are you still having your standard family gatherings, or are you doing something like my family that's far more low-key and staying close to home? If you have specific plans already mapped out for Thanksgiving, go ahead and comment them down below. This is what your dough will look like before it has an opportunity to rise. I'm just going to stick it on the countertop, cover it with a towel, and then move on to making my turkey. Now, ordinarily I would do a full turkey or even a turkey breast. However, my family is not going to eat that amount of turkey for just a group of 5. So I found these turkey breast tenderloins at Trader Joe's, and it was only $10 for enough to make dinner for the entire family, as opposed to spending significantly more buying the full turkey or even just the full turkey breast. I'm just going to take a large baking pan and liberally spray some avocado oil before I take these turkey tenderloins out of the package and lay them on the tray. The only thing that I'm going to be seasoning these with is just salt and pepper.
There we go. You put cream, Mommy?
I'm going to be making potatoes. My middle son loves helping me cook, so he was doing a great job of washing off all of the potatoes while I was preparing the turkey. I'm just going to take these potatoes and cube them into bite-sized pieces. My family is not keen on mashed potatoes. I'm the only person in my family that even likes mashed potatoes, so even though that is a far more traditional item to make for Thanksgiving, I am just going to be roasting these baking potatoes in small bite-sized chunks alongside our turkey breast. Anytime I can minimize the number of dishes that I'm using to make a family meal of this size, I am definitely going to take advantage of that. So having a tray that you can bake the potatoes and the turkey, they both are going to take the same amount of time and cook at the same temperature. I love being able to take advantage of something like that for easy cleanup later. All I'm going to do with the potatoes is just put a little bit of olive oil on them and then use this seasoning that comes from Trader Joe's. It's everything but the leftover seasoning and comes out at Thanksgiving time every year. Now, if you don't have this available, if it's sold out, or you're watching this video outside of the seasonal period that this is available at Trader Joe's, or you don't have a Trader Joe's in your area, you can season these however you want. I've done this with just salt and pepper before. I've done it with garlic powder and onion powder. I've done it with herbs. However you like your potatoes flavored is going to be perfectly fine for this dish. I also added some salt and pepper when I was seasoning the turkey before sticking this into a 350-degree oven for 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, I stirred the potatoes, I flipped over the turkey, and put it back into the oven for an additional 20 minutes. In my family, I am always tasked with making the green bean casserole. I have a casserole that I make from scratch every year, and it's always a big hit. However, it's a little bit labor intensive and not something that I want to do for a small gathering. So I am just going to be coming up with a recipe that includes the flavorings of a green bean casserole, but without all the work. All you're going to do is just saute some green beans, some mushrooms, a liberal amount of garlic and onion powder in about a tablespoon of olive oil. Just stick it all into a fry pan and then start to allow the mushrooms to release their juices and the green beans to caramelize. While I am doing this, I move on to making gravy. Now, normally you would have the drippings from a turkey to make gravy. However, because I am just making the turkey tenderloin, there isn't going to be any drippings. So I'm coming up with a gravy from scratch, just using what I had. I didn't have any sort of turkey stock or turkey base, so this is actually going to be chicken gravy that I'm putting on top of our turkey. I just combined butter, flour, chicken bouillon. It comes from Costco, though you can get it at any standard grocery store. It is very salty though, so you do want to make sure not to salt your gravy if you're going to be using this particular brand of the bouillon. Your butter, flour, and bouillon are going to come together in a paste. All you're going to have to do is season it and add water to give it the perfect consistency of a gravy. I added 2 cups of water to this gravy before adding some Italian seasoning and some garlic and onion powder. Here is what your green beans will look like. I did add a splash of water to them as well while they were cooking, to just make sure that that water would evaporate and cause the green beans to be fully cooked through and caramelize a little bit. One of the most popular videos on my channel has been my Easter quarantine dinner. I showed how I made an entire Easter dinner using only 10 ingredients. If you're looking for a completely different meal plan, I will go ahead and leave that video in the description box below if you'd like to watch it as well. Once our gravy comes together and it's fully seasoned, we're going to move on to just finalizing the baking of our rolls. I did take our rolls and roll them out into 16 balls. I covered them with a towel and let them rise on the counter for another 20 minutes. Once they have risen, you're going to see that they are plumped up just slightly and are ready to go into the oven. Here's what they looked like after the 30 minutes. I stuck them into a 350-degree oven and let them bake for 10 minutes. At this point, I've already pulled the turkey out and it's resting on the counter. So this really is something that you do right before the meal comes out so that the rolls are hot. I like to plate mine by just using a big white serving tray. I put the potatoes on there, the green beans and mushrooms, and then I topped the green beans with the French fried onions that you would ordinarily find on the top of a green bean casserole, just so that it would give it the essence of the casserole without all of the cream sauce that normally would be involved. My husband just sliced up the turkey while I moved on to making dessert. This is quite possibly the easiest dessert I've ever made. It was something that I found on Taste of Home. I will go ahead and leave the full recipe link in the description box down below, but all you have to do is combine eggs and vanilla, flour, brown sugar, and pecans, a little bit of baking soda, and a little bit of salt. So it's very minimal ingredients, and was super easy to make. I am horrendous at baking. I hate measuring things. I always feel like I'm going to screw up baking. I love cooking, but baking has been one of those things that I think that maybe I just don't have the patience to measure it correctly, and that's why it doesn't always turn out. But this dish was quite literally foolproof. Here is what your batter is going to look like after it's all mixed. I only made half of what the recipe called for because I felt like the full amount was going to be too much for my family. I then put it into an 9x9 baking dish that was coated in avocado oil. I was a little bit concerned at this point that it wasn't going to be enough batter because when I was taking it out of the bowl and starting to spread it in the bottom, it didn't seem like it was very much, but it puffed up and came out perfect after it baked at 350 for 25 minutes. I'll go ahead and show you what the end product looked like here. This was so good. These were really chewy and a simple, easy dessert for Thanksgiving that doesn't involve all of the work that goes into making homemade pies. I went ahead and included my 10 ingredient Easter dinner recipe if you'd like to watch that video next. And if you haven't done so already, you can subscribe to my channel by clicking on my face on the right side of your screen for additional homemaking videos. I hope you're all staying happy and healthy.